Yo, what is up people? It's your boy Zayn back with another video after literally being dead and gone from YouTube for 9 months straight. But now I'm back and I'm back like I never left. We're pulling up with a banger. How to win 70% more fights in Valorant. If you adapt all of these tips into your gameplay, then you'll be able to beat even an immortal level player. I've coached Ascendant and Immo players and even they still make these mistakes on a regular basis. The first thing that I'm going to address is something that a lot of other coaches and content creators might tell you to never do, and that is fully tunnel visioning on your gunfights. When you're holding an angle in Valorant or peeking somebody, it is really important that in your mind you are fully tunnel vision on that aim duel. Your complete focus is on that duel. You're not thinking about your teammates, you're not thinking about other enemies, you're not thinking about the minimap, you're not thinking about how much time there is left. The only thing that is on your mind is that gunfight and how you're going to win that gunfight. A lot of people are going to tell you that that is a bad thing and you should never tunnel vision on a fight, but I'm talking about when you've already decided to take the fight. It is best to fully tunnel vision on it and win it, instead of focusing on something else and then losing the gunfight because of that. If you find yourself stuck in a corner and are worried about your teammates not having your back, at that point you've already went too far. It's best to tunnel vision on the angle that is in front of you instead of worrying about the angles that your teammates should be holding. At that point, if you do die from behind, it is truly a team gap and there's nothing you can do about that. But if you do get distracted, look to your left and then get killed from the angle that you should have been holding, that is totally on you and you're the only one to blame. The second thing I'm going to be talking about goes hand in hand with the tunnel visioning, and that is physically leaning forward in real life when you know it's time to lock in and take a gunfight in order to trigger your brain to go into deep focus. That way, it'll be way easier for your body to use hand-eye coordination, and you will start tricking your brain more and more and tell it, yo, right now is the time to lock the fuck in. I'm getting into a gunfight. I need to channel my inner tens. I need to impress the Sage girl. You already know I'm locking the fuck in. And that is when you look down, lean forward, you're going full focus mode and tap away. And then the second you're rotating, the second you're doing something that doesn't need a deep focus, you sit normally. And then your brain is like, all right, I'm chilling now, we're playing. Boom, you lean forward again, your brain knows, yo, it's time to lock the fuck in. And once you start conditioning your body, mind, and brain into locking in when you start leaning forward, your aim will become so much crispier. It's not even a joke. A lot of pros use methods like this in every game. Durka, for example, tilts his head down whenever he gets into a gunfight, and it makes his aim way smoother. On Fortnite, there's players that use little sweat towels to dry their hands before they get into a fight, simply because they got so used to it and it just lets them lock in and focus more. The third thing we're going to talk about is less about making it easier for you and more about making it as hard as possible for your enemies. In Valorant, it is really important to always stay moving. You never want to stand still in this game. Even when you're holding an angle, you always want to tap your A and D keys just to keep your mind ready and keep your mind in. And then as soon as your enemies peek you, bop, you go for that one tap and you dash out, or you jump away, or you go for the multi-kill and keep holding. But standing still like a little NPC, I've explained it in one of my videos before, it makes you such an easy target. You're going to get wide swung and one tapped, and you're going to feel like you have no counterplay whatsoever, and it's just going to feel like you can't even get a bullet off before dying. And that is because you're not moving at all. On the enemy screen, you're a sitting duck, and they're just going to wide swing you and kill you. You always want to tap your A&D keys. You always want to stay moving. You always want to think ahead and try and plan where you're going to move after getting each kill and try to position yourself that way. That'll make it way harder for the enemies to track you, and you're going to become a real nuance to them, and they're not going to be able to hit their shots on you. But now I'm going to tell you how you can become that guy that peeks and one taps the other person without them even being able to shoot back. I remember back when I used to be silver and I used to be gold and I was really bad at this game, I kept getting one tapped by people I couldn't even shoot back at in time. But now I know how to be the guy to do that to other people, and it honestly feels amazing. All it really takes to do that to others is to, in your head, picture the Valorant map that you're playing on and picture the exact angle that you're peeking with your crosshair while you're peeking it. And before you actually do swing around the corner, in your head, you pretend there is an enemy there already. You pretend you know he's there and you have wall hacks on him. You anticipate him being there. That way, if he does end up being there, you're ready for it. You're not going to be surprised at all, and you're going to one-tap him within a millisecond. If you did what I told you previously, and you're leaning forward, you're locked in, your tunnel vision on the duel, your crosshair is going to lock onto his head so fast, and he's just going to be dead without even being able to react. And he's going to be like we used to be back in the day when we were silver and gold, when we were bad at the game, bro. I hate to break it to you, but I mean, when we were just dog shit, I'm not gonna lie, and we got one tapped, we are those people now, man. That's how you become that guy. The next thing we're gonna address is gonna take a little bit more practice than the other things, but it will pay off and it will look beautiful once you're able to pull it off. In Valorant, around your crosshair, there is an invisible zone that I will call the Flickable Zone, which is the range, which varies from player to player with aim skill to aim skill, obviously, but it's roughly the same for everybody. I'm going to put it on the screen real quick around my crosshair. It's roughly the range on where you're able to flick to a location with almost 100% accuracy. What you want to try when you're playing Valorant is place your crosshair in a way where your enemy's head will always be in that square when you're starting a gunfight. Hitting consistent shots is all about making the shots as easy to hit as possible. Make sure that the enemy's head is always in consistently flickable range before taking your shot. Even if your enemy is not in that range, you swipe your arm there, you readjust to put him in that flickable range, and then flick on his head and go for the shot. You never want to go for a wide ass flick because those usually don't hit, and that's one way to become a really inconsistent player and start becoming a crouch sprayer. If you want to start actually flicking your opponents, you need to get close, then readjust in the flickable range, and then hit the one tap. And that's how you become consistent, my friends. The last thing I'm going to address, which is going to make winning your fights a lot easier and a lot more consistent, is always trying to put yourself in a favorable position. And I know you hear it all the time from every pro guides and every single skill cap channel. Yo guys, you need to have perfect crosshair placement. You want to hold angles that are favorable to you. That's not the way I mean it. When I'm talking about a favorable angle, I'm talking about an angle that you are further away from than the enemy. Meaning, geometrically speaking, that means that you're going to be able to see your enemy first because they're closer to the object that you're peeking around. And I know you hear it all the time, but the thing is, I've coached so many players and none of them actively think about that when they're taking an angle or taking a fight mid-game. If you're swinging a main on any map, usually the choke points are really tight and you are usually closer to that choke point than your enemy, so you will get one tap, which is why overheating is such a bad thing a lot of the times, because you're taking bad peaks, not really thinking about what you're doing. Anyway, I digress. You really want to get it engraved in your head to always take fights that are favorable for you. And if you can take a favorable fight right now, then it's best to just relax. The only times it's worth it to take unfavorable fights and low percentage fights, low conversion rate fights, is when you're at a numbers disadvantage and you desperately need to take a risk in order to equalize the numbers and try to win the round back. Other than that, if you're in a 5v5 and a 4v4, or if you're in a 4v3 even, I see a lot of players overheating, taking bad peaks when they're ahead in players. Just play good gunfights. Just play favorable positions and don't be a nerd, man. Don't play stupid and try and go for the 10s play and go for the 10s flick. Kaide will not want you, little bro. Just play safe and you will hit radiant, man. All right, well, that was it for my first video back after 9 months of not playing this game. I've been grinding the past week and I'm getting back to Immortal, and I've already coached a bunch of people and it's honestly so much fun to be back. I have way less stress now because I'm almost done with my apprenticeship and I'm just chilling right now. I have way more time for YouTube and I'm gonna take this shit seriously. So if you want any more no bullshit, laid back, straight to the point guides, make sure you subscribe to the channel, man, to never miss another upload. Other than that, we're bringing back booster customs in my Discord server. If you have a server boost available with your Discord Nitro, you can boost the server, and we're doing custom games every single Saturday, and you'll be able to play with me every single weekend, and you can ask me a bunch of questions if you want. We're just gonna have a blast and play, man. Just have some fun. I'm super glad to be back. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you do your homework. Peace.